First of all, it's so good to be here. Thank you for having me. You know, I am in advertising. Okay, if you've ever seen any ads on TV, newspaper, or in the social media also, I do those things. I am a creative. I write, I design, and I think of ideas. So I basically get paid to sit and think. That's my job. Uh, but the thing is, I wasn't meant to do advertising. Okay, I didn't have a God-given talent. I watched a TV show called Mad Men. I used to work, I'm a biotechnologist by graduation, and I was working in brewery. Sometimes I was working in a lab. And one night I come back and I watch this TV series called Mad Men, and I see there are these writers who are wearing suits, driving Cadillacs, and I'm like, I want to do this. I know how to write. I want to, wear a suit and drive Cadillacs. I want this life. So I basically learned how to be an advertiser, right? I googled a bunch of stuff. I read a lot of books, and I did a lot of jobs, and that way I am where I am today, right? So my point is, there's nothing called God-given talent. There's only learned creativity, right? There's only the talent that you learn. So this is a painting that we have seen. It's on the dome of the Sistine Chapel, and it took 3,000 years for a doctor to actually notice the man and God painting is actually an image of a brain hidden in it, which means that divine creativity don't come from above, but from our own minds. So creativity can be learned. But how do we do that? How do we learn creativity? Is there any way to actually be a creative person? My answer is yes. There are a lot of rules, there are a lot of guardrails, there are a lot of tricks, hacks, and everything that can make you more creative. For example, curiosity didn't kill the cat. Gender did. What does that mean? Curiosity isn't a target practice. How many of you are noting all this in your notebook? Like a lot of management students, right? You want to learn advertising, marketing, and everything. My thing is, you already have come with an agenda that today I'm going to learn about advertising. Today I'm going to learn about marketing. Sometimes when you pick a self-help book from the airport, you have this one agenda that I want to learn how to be a great speaker, or I want to learn how to write better. So we go into things with an agenda. But my suggestion is simple. Don't go with it with an agenda. Be curious. See everything that you can actually absorb. So curiosity isn't a target practice. It's jazz, right? It's everywhere. Don't think of it as a straight line. Think of it as, messy. Creativity is messy. It can come from anywhere. For example, if you want to learn about mechanics, engineering, be a bird watcher. Why? Biomimicry. It's engineering and mechanics that you learn from the things that are hidden in the nature, things you find in the nature. So, the 500 bullet train Shinkansen in Japan is actually inspired from the anatomy of the kingfisher. Similarly, you can see there are so many inventions that happened because of the things we did in nature. So, yeah, if you want to learn about mechanics or engineering, be a bird watcher. But if you want to learn about architecture, go hiking. Because if you go hiking, you're going to notice these fungal networks on leaves. If you know the fungal networks on the leaves, you will know that the Japanese subway station was actually designed by the way the fungal networks connect with each other through rainforests. So if you want to save the world, learn to paint. Why? Because in India, in Bombay in the 2000s, people were having problems with jaywalking. A lot of people were getting killed because they were coming in front of the train. So a company, an agency was given the job to solve this problem. Fine and Mile is called the name of the agency. What they did was simply painted yellow lines in between every section. What it did was, it actually, people who were jaywalking, it gave them a reference point, is okay, this is how far the train is. Okay, if I can run, I won't make it right now. So painting is actually what changed and saved a lot of life. So this is the point. If you want to change the world, if you want to do something great, don't go with an agenda. Be curious. So this is something, a very important line in advertising and marketing. When the word zigs, use that. Always find conflict. So this is another rule that we apply. If there is a straight answer, we go against it. For example, an alien and a human meet, right? And they're having a conversation. The alien says, I don't understand human. You can paint the dome of the Sistine Chapel. You can create the Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. But all you do is just sit around. To that, the human says, if you look at it the other way, we can all really just sit around. But someone gets up to paint the Sistine Chapel, create Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. So, find different perception to what you're going to do. And creating conflict is, but if you look at an elephant on a unicycle, that's very interesting. And that is all juxtaposing is about. So how do we use in marketing and advertising? How do we use things that don't necessarily fit together, fit it perfectly? This is the ad that we made for Porsche, the car, for Music Day. The pianist, for the guitarist, and for the bands, there was another slide. So this is what juxtaposing is about. We took the actions and the gestures of musical instrument, and we actually juxtaposed it with the car and things you do around the car. So I can tell you a lot of rules about how to be more creative. For example, nostalgia is contagious. Nostalgia is one of the most powerful tools in advertising, creativity, and even in marketing, right? Why? Because if you know the past, if you look into the past, you're going to remember Adarsh Balak being pasted all over the principal's office, the school halls, everywhere. If you are millennial or if you were the early Gen Zs, you will remember seeing this poster somewhere. So if you look into the past, you'll find that there's a terrific artist who's reviving this Adarsh Balak, right? Priyesh Trivedi is his name. He was reviving this Adarsh Balak comics and giving it a new twist. And if you know this artist, you will know how to make an ad, right? This is our latest ad from Talented Agency that I worked on for Myntra. We changed the narrative of Adarsh Balak into an ad. Right? It was all over Bombay. If someone has seen on the billboard, you will notice that. So I can tell you all about the rules, the hacks, the tricks, and they are in abundance. You'll find it everywhere. Go through LinkedIn, go through Instagram, through any platform. You're gonna find so many people who are gonna talk about the rules and the hacks and whatnot. But rules don't make sense if you don't have those who place them, right? It's easy, it's not easy, but the tough part isn't to become a creative. The tough part is remaining one. We're all creatives, but first, we have to believe it. We have to believe in ourselves. So the bad news is that the creative process is hard. And the good news is that you're not alone with it. You're not alone in it. For example, Miyazaki, one of the best filmmakers and artists who made the Japanese anime culture so profound, even he goes through the creative process. And it's a hard one, right? So, you have to first believe that you're going to fail, and you're going to fail a lot. And that's okay, because you're going to understand that what it takes to really, really think, really, really sit down and just go into things. The failure is the best part, right? We don't succeed because we want to prove people wrong. We want to succeed because we want to prove people right. So, another rule in advertising, embrace the cringe. So, this is a very important lesson in having taste. We say this person has taste, this person doesn't have taste. This person has a good taste in movies, this person has a bad taste in movies. This person has good taste in books and bad taste. We hear this all around. My suggestion is embrace the cringe. It's okay if you find something cringy or you don't find something aligned with your taste. Be a two-faced. Look at two things. For example, this is a great leader and this is a great boss. This is also a great leader and a great boss. This is a fantastic movie. You guys are playing the score on the stage. This is a fantastic movie too. So, yeah, be tasteful. Love cinema. But in that movie dialogue, have you heard, "Apne ke liye kya dekhte ho?" You should be two-faced when it comes to taste. But when you're starting in the creative process, when you're starting to be a creative or you're a management person who just went into a position and there are a lot of hierarchy and a lot of people, you're having a lot of problems with who you are. This is going to come important because you're going to find two kinds of people, the naysayers and the critics, but they're way too different than each other. For example, ditch the naysayers, welcome the critics. What does it mean? Naysayers put themselves above you, right? Critics put the work above you, and there's a lot of difference. Naysayers love labels. They're going to assign so many labels to you. For example, when I started out in my career, these were some of the things that I got to hear. When I started out, you get a lot of followers, you think, oh, he's just a LinkedIn guy, I don't mind him. There were people actually in certain offices, in certain agency, who would discuss these things. Then you make a work, that actually gets some popularity, people love your work, then you're just having the 5 minutes of fame. Then you get a little successful, climb the ladder, and they say that you're a bootlicker. And when you're finally getting things going on, they'll say you were a show-off. So naysayers love labels. So it's important to understand and important to remember this line. We may be known for our work, but we are believed for our humanity. How do we become better storytellers? How do we become better people, better creators? First, we have to tell the human truth. What is the human truth? Honesty. These are some of the most famous ads that have been created throughout a generation. There were a lot of companies in the 80s. This is a very good lesson in marketing also, how to communicate, right? A lot of car rental services in the 80s were saying we are the best. We have the best services. We have amazing prices, and these were the kind of advertisement that used to go on. Then there's this advertiser who came along and wrote this. They said, you know what, we're not the best. We're actually number 2. And that is the reason why you should come to us. Because since we're number 2, we're going to try harder. We cannot afford not to be nice. Avis is only number 2 in rent-a-cars. So why go with us? Beautiful lesson in marketing. And honesty has worked all over. When the Volkswagen Beetle launched, they couldn't compete with the Rolls-Royce, they couldn't compete with the Ferrari. They couldn't do anything about it. So they chose, what? Yeah, we are small, yeah, we are compact. So what? Let's make it our power. Make honesty your power. So they took a newspaper, put the Volkswagen in a little tiny space, and say, think small. And they were more honest about it. And they said, you know what? If you run out of gas, it's easy to push. They put a basketball player over there and they said it couldn't be done. It couldn't. And this is the beauty of communication in marketing. in advertising, that honesty actually helps you. People laugh, people think, hey, you know what, these guys are actually honest. I love them, something got to think about. And finally, the most important part. Believe in the kid inside you. Why you all started, why you started, right? I'll tell you a story about this amazing chief creative officer in an agency. When he was young, he had a pitch the next day, right, to an insurance company, an advertising pitch. He has no idea what to do, right? He calls his junior up and says, go to the office and check the conference room where the meeting is going to happen. And the junior calls him and tells him, it's a big conference room, there are a lot of chandeliers, a lot of people, a lot of chairs, and there's a long table. And he says, all right, got it. So next day there's a meeting, he goes there. And there's the CEO standing over there. There are all the executives and people from the insurance company. Everyone is serious mood. And this guy gets up on the table. This guy gets up on the table and starts crawling like a cat. You imagine, like you're a CEO and you're looking at some dude, walking towards you like a cat, and he crawls on the table, and he comes right towards his face, and he says, "Oh, you never know what's coming." Right? That was his tagline for that. You never know what's coming. That's an insurance ad. Beautiful idea. So you gotta believe in the passion. You gotta believe why you started all this. So I'm gonna quote a beautiful written note called a manifesto. And this is Apple's manifesto. So I wanna say this aloud for people who are starting out, the students, people who are going to do amazing things in life. Because to be very honest, in the next 5 years, you're not going to recognize who you are. There's so many things that's going to change. And it's okay. Don't run with the crowd. Don't worry this person is doing this, he's going to Europe, that's going to America, I'm over here. Don't worry about it. Your journey is your journey. Everyone else's journey is different. And it's okay. Let them do their thing while you focus on your thing. And when we start and the things we're passionate about, we have the way we talk. I want to create great cinema. I want to do great writing. I want to, be an army officer. There's so many things that we want to do, so passionate about. But during the journey, we get distracted. Oh, I want more money. Oh, I want this designation. I want this power. I want this, and we get into the politics. And we forget about it. That's why when you stray away from where you started, always believe in the kid. Because the kid inside you is absolutely right. So, here's to the crazy ones. The misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers. The round pegs and square holes. The ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify them, or vilify them. But the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see geniuses. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. There it is. Thank you. Thank you so much. I want to say this, so I get a chance to do that. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.